That's some next level car boot style shit, that is. Look at that. Hey! That's better. Hello, welcome back to the Ambassador Project. Guys, sorry for the lack of content over the last couple of weeks. I've been suffering with a bad back, I've had a trapped nerve on my shoulder, and on my days off it's been raining. So that's been less than ideal. So I've not made a load of progress on the car. We need to step it up a gear because I have plans for this vehicle. This morning I would like to fit a timing belt. This is a Gates belt, part number 5024 for those interested, and should fit the following vehicles. Austin Ambassador, that's a good start. Morris Marina, Tau Princess, Leyland DAF, LDV, Rover 200, Sherpa. When was the last time you saw one of those? And Rover 2000. Before they were timing chain. Anyway, the point is it should fit. So I'd like to fit one of these this morning. I say I'd like. Guys, it's been a while since I did a timing belt on my own. So I've enlisted the help of a friend of mine. He's a trained RAC mechanic. He's been around a block or two. And should be able to help me do this change this morning. I'm not going to point a camera in his face because that's a bit intrusive, but hopefully I will get a camera in there and you can watch him working away. So I've got some impact sockets, so I don't think they're going to be too wide to get on the nut.
So I've got odd sockets here. That's a 32.
That's 32, that might get in there.
I think 32 is probably... Yeah, that would be I think I need 30 like that, but that'll be enough to just turn the engine.
Turn it, yeah.
Just anything that clears the other.
Exciting times.
Engines usually go clockwise, so
yeah. So what we're doing now is just turning over.
I'm just turning it. Oh, there's a whole load of timing marks here as well. You've got one timing mark up there at the top.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a load here that look like saw teeth. When this B mark on top, through that hole, the dot is lined up with the edge of that tooth.
Yeah.
So you can take that line of that tooth, and I've got that more or less lined up with there. And then when you look down here, there's a little V cut in there, and this thing, and that line there is lined up with that little V.
Perfect.
In there. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, as long as you've got two marks you can look at.
Yeah.
So that when you put the belt back on, you get those two marks back in the same place. You know you've put everything back together in the same place. And that's all that's really important.
Brilliant.
And there's no significance in having it in a certain... And that felt tight as I was getting to that point, as if I was at top dead centre.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's all okay. So all I've got to do now is take the belts off. Slack that one off. Okay, slides there. See which one of the bolts is the pivoting bolt.
Gotcha.
It's this one here, not those big ones. Just need to grab a 13mm spanner. Oh, okay. That's handy. That'll do. I mean, it's turning reasonably easy anyway. There you go. If it's a half, it might not fit so well. That's it, that'll do. Just make sure that one's loose enough. Should be able to push this. Yeah, because
19.
oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to where that one went. Now it should move. No. That's it. Yeah, see now it moves easily. Right, so that's that one. And then we've got
I got the impression from the old boy that he was a bit of a tinkerer because he had the carburettor apart. It was all everything was brand new and shiny. And I thought someone's been in here.
I know. The trouble with people having carburettors apart is there was a guy over near Ballard School and he had a Ford GT40. The thing that cost a fortune.
Yeah.
And I went there and he said, oh, it won't run. And he'd had the Holly carburettor apart. And he put it back together using white bathroom silicone. And I said to him, you have done this carburettor completely up with silicone, and so no fuel can get through.
Yeah.
I said, somehow, and I said, no, I haven't got a clue. You've got to find out what solvent will completely dissolve that and wash it right out.
I think petrol would do, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it might do. I said, but that's what you've got to do. I said, because basically I can't get it out, and I don't know what would get it out. That one's also cracked, a bit cracked up in the bits in the middle. Right, the next thing is, what have you got? Is that
That's a 13 and 10.
yeah, that's handy because that's the next thing is to get under here with the right end of it, because the socket won't get under there.
Is that working for you?
Just make sure all these marks are lined up in a
I imagine you're meant to have
broadly
locking tools, aren't you?
sensible position. Oh, get that on there, and bit of an awkward tool to get in here, but
Would you normally lock the top camshaft then, or?
no, because there's nothing to lock it with. You just sort of hope it doesn't spin round. There's no, you've got these three
I
holes, but
suppose as long as you've got the markings don't move.
those holes only line up with the seal,
Right, got
so you can't stick
Put
a pin
in it.
through
Right,
to
got
hold
you.
it in.
Okay.
You know, you can sometimes put
Pinch.
like a pinching,
But then you'd be in the way.
you know, like the mole grips you get that have got
Yeah.
for holding body panels together.
I've got those.
You can sometimes put one of those round there and one round there to just hold it in place. Tension off of it.
Yeah, if I can hold it.
Once you've got a bit of the tension off, you can just creep this off pulley. It's always a bit sharp on these pulleys normally, so you cut your fingers if you're not careful.
Really?
Yeah, the edge of them. And they don't seem to believe in everything just fits. You've got a holder there for a pickup off of that disc on the back, but there's nothing in it. Some engines obviously, see that thing down there? Some engines obviously have some kind of timing crank sensor there, but not this one.
I was just saying in the intro to the video, this fits Leyland Sherpa When was the last
Yes,
time?
that's the thing I noticed when I was looking it up. It came up as all kinds of things. Montegos.
Yeah, Maestro, Tau, Princess.
Yeah, there we are. Same size. Always do that to make sure
Yeah.
you're putting the same size belt on.
So,
That one over there.
put the other one back on.
Yeah, that's always not a thing you want to do. By just putting that inside of there and pulling that across. There we are. Right, here we go. Right, you always put it, make sure it's in the crank pulley first, and then onto the cam second,
Yeah.
and then the tensioner last of all if you can. And slide it on. And you can see where it was running before. So
You got like a witness mark.
yeah, try and slide it on to roughly the same position, because presumably, there we are, that's where it was. Now theoretically, with that on there nicely that way, when you pull this one back over, it won't change the orientation between this mark and that mark.
Gotcha.
That's it, perfect. That line is now lined up exactly with that V, and this dot, which lines up with the edge of that,
Yeah.
is just coming up to that marker, and the tension on that, at the moment I can do 90 degrees, and on the short side I can do 45.
Check belt tension as described earlier and adjust if necessary. Where is it mentioned?
Yeah, it says about putting a
Oh yeah.
thing on here, and it should deflect 8mm for a pull of about 5 kilos or something.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
I can deflect it 8mm with my fingers, but I'm not sure whether I'm pulling at 5 kilos. You need, you know, the fisherman's scales.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to use if you've got them. You hook them on the belt, and then you pull and see how far, see what deflection you get.
Fingers.
Yeah, that's all going around. It nearly fired. Yeah, see, when you do that, you can only get to about 45 degrees and you can't really twist it anymore.
Yeah.
That one, you can get it to 90, but on the long run I always go 90,
Yeah.
and because that's, you know, I mean, it's tight. That's not loose by any stretch of the imagination. So, right, we'll put this back on.
Yeah.
Right, that should be, that's about right on there. That's not too tight. Water pumps can fail if you do the belt up too tight.
Yeah.
So that should be enough that it doesn't squeal, hopefully. Did it make any alternator squealing noises before?
No,
or?
not at all.
No, so hopefully that's still the same. When I started putting bolts through it, you just did up wound them because it's a basket. pumping fuel, no doubt about that. Yeah, give it another try. Oh, nearly. Yeah.
Bring the thunder.
Oh, nearly. So close. I don't know if the choke's on or off at the moment.
Off at the moment, I think.
Yeah, it probably needed a bit of... Yeah, that was close.
Right, that's another job ticked off the list. One step closer to being back on the road. So what am I going to be doing with this car in the long run? Well guys, I think I'm going to be selling it as an ongoing project. I did think about keeping it because of the rarity of it, and it will be tax and MOT exempt later this year. So that's a good selling advantage. But I might have bought something else. So I can need the space back on the driveway. But I want to get this car as close as I can to being a running and driving vehicle for the next person to take on, because it's a very solid car. It just needs the arches tidying up and some paintwork. I've given it a clean. The interior's come up a treat. It's all here. Yeah, it just needs that bodywork sorting out. Underside is rock solid. I can show some videos if you'd like. But it's just the arches that let it down at the moment, and the paintwork. We've still got the fuel supply issue to look at. The pump is still in the tank and that's not working. Although I have fitted a mechanical fuel pump to the front of the engine, and that's now running off a jerry can. So this car will start, it runs and drives, but only off of jerry can, which is not ideal. So that needs to be looked at still. And there's also the electrics to look at. The front lights are working. Everything in here is working, but the rear lights aren't. Hopefully it's just a ground connection, or it might even just be bulbs. So I need to look at that, because there's no reason why they're working, but they're not. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. There will be more content on this car coming very soon. Watch your space. Right. See you soon.